Hello everyone. This video is in continuation to our videos of breathing and exchange of gases grade 11th. In our previous video we had discussed the breathing mechanism, inhalation and exhalation. In this video we'll talk about forceful exhalation, as in once the exhalation has been done, some amount of air can be exhaled out forcefully also. And as I told you in previous video that exhalation is a passive process, but herein forceful exhalation becomes an active process. That's why we are doing it separately. So we will talk about the forceful expiration or exhalation, and then we'll continue with pulmonary vital capacities. So keep watching and share the videos as well. Let's start. Forceful exhalation. Now before we start with forceful exhalation, let's understand or recapitulate what we've done in the last video. So just breathing involves inhalation and exhalation. Exhalation is a passive process and inhalation is an active process. I told you it's called as an active process because here the muscles are required for contraction. Fine, but in exhalation, muscles of course are there, but they just relax. There is no energy used up. But when we are going to specifically talk about exhalation, but we are going to talk about forceful exhalation, which becomes an active process now. Fine, I'll show you diagrammatically also. Let's see. Now diagrammatically, as I made in the last video also, suppose these are the ribs, and as we are talking about exhalation, let's see. Suppose this is inhalation. Fine, so during inhalation the diaphragm is flattened and the ribs are out. Fine, suppose this is inhalation which is taking place, and then when we talk about exhalation, what is going to happen? The ribs are going to contract so that the thoracic cavity decreases in size and the diaphragm is going to get dome shaped. But when I say that it is forceful exhalation taking place, the ribs are again going to contract more than this, whatever had happened, and the diaphragm is again going to rise up more than that which has happened earlier. So let's label this. Suppose this is forceful exhalation. I'm just writing the short forms. This is exhalation itself and this is inhalation. So you can see the changes. The rib cage once is expanded during inhalation, it contracts during exhalation, but it contracts more during forceful exhalation. Let's understand how. So before we start, let's understand what are the muscles required. Now as I told you, it's called as active because herein involvement of muscles is there. So muscles involved are first of all internal intercostal muscles. Now if you remember in our previous video for inhalation we had used, or the muscles used are external intercostal muscles. It's internal intercostal muscles and plus abdominal muscles. Abdominal muscles. Now internal intercostal muscles, as there were 11 pair of external intercostal muscles. In the same manner here also there are 12 pair of ribs and the intercostal muscles are 11 pair of internal intercostal muscles. Abdominal muscles, these are the muscles attached to organs, actually organs and diaphragm. As I told you, if you remember, this is the diaphragm. So it is, it is a sheet like covering which is underneath the chest cavity. So herein at the periphery there are radial muscles or phrenic muscles. In the same manner, the organs here underneath this diaphragm are the organs. So they are attached to the diaphragm, so that when the abdominal muscles they contract, the diaphragm it becomes more of, वो ऐसे contract होंगे तो diaphragm और dome shape हो जाएगा, hence reducing the thoracic cavity. So now let's understand what are the steps involved. Let's see the steps. As it is an active process, contraction is taking place. So first is contraction of internal intercostal muscles. I'm just writing the short form. And the second is contraction of abdominal muscles. Fine. So abdominal muscles contract and internal intercostal muscles. Internal intercostal muscles contract. So what happens? The thoracic cavity ka volume decreases. And when abdominal muscles contract, the diaphragm becomes dome shaped. Fine. So thoracic cavity is decreasing in volume or is decreasing in size, you can say, whereas the diaphragm, it is becoming more of dome shaped. So in this condition, what happens? What is happening here? The volume is decreasing. So when the volume decreases, pressure increases, as we did. And when the pressure increases, moves from high pressure to low pressure. So when the pressure increases, what happens? The air moves out of the lungs. Now this is forceful expiration. Fine. Again, in this forceful expiration, when normal expiration has taken place, some amount of energy is required for forcefully exhaling more of air. So the muscles involved are internal intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles. Internal intercostal muscles, they contract, and when they contract, the thoracic cavity decreases in size. Abdominal muscles, when they contract, the diaphragm becomes more of dome shaped, hence decreasing the pressure inside the thoracic cavity, which leads to movement of the air outside. Fine. So this is all about forceful expiration. In our next video, we are going to talk about a very important topic, that is the vital capacities. We are going to talk about tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, capacities and all. So please keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you.